My first experience with Pearland was in the middle 60s, 1960s. I lived up in Houston and I had just joined the Space Center, Johnson Space Center. And I had to drive through Pearland to get to Johnson Space Center. And I came down through here and there was a Quonset hut, and being fairly recent out of service in World War II, seeing a Quonset hut, I said, wow, this is a neat town. And looked off down there and it says Ford's, and I thought, wow, Ford dealership down there. Well, it turned out to be a restaurant. And I drove through here for about a couple of months, and I found out that that was save me about 30 miles a day if I would move to Pearland from Westbury Square area in Houston. So we moved to Pearland in 1965. We had 4,000 people. And I'm convinced that they exaggerated the 4,000. I think they were counting their cats and their uncle up at Lake Livingston as part of the head count. Pearland was a very friendly city, and we had really a genuine soda fountain, and it was at the corner of 518 and 35, and there was a pharmacy store. It was actually a drugstore. And you'd go in, there was a nice bar, and I used to be a soda jerk years ago when I was growing up in high school, at a nice bar, and it had the genuine wrought iron tall stools and little round tables all through there. And it was really a wonderful, wonderful experience to walk into something that I had grown up with. And here I was working in the space age. And as it so happened, in 1973, I was able to become a member of the city council. And we talked about what was happening in Clear Lake. Why can't we do this in Pearland? Why can't Pearland be a city that has sidewalks around the town, and maybe paved, maybe the streets could be paved too. We had mostly shell and asphalt streets. And 518, I think, was very narrow. It was kind of interesting. I would go to 518 through Friendswood down to National Road 1 and go in past Webster into Space Center. And I'd come home at night and I'd tell my wife, I said, I saw 3 pickup trucks going to work this morning. And of course, when you drove down 518 going there, you'd see somebody wave at them because there weren't that many people down there. And it was quite interesting watching a small town grow up over the years. We raised pears as a fertile ground and come on down. So they named it Pearland. Well, there were pear trees in Pearland. And as a matter of fact, when we moved in our house, my daughter said, Daddy, where are the pear trees? So I had to plant 3 pear trees in my yards to make sure we were part of the pear theme. And we had a centennial parade in which the veterans of foreign war and the Women's Association in that group were able to put on a parade. The surprising thing and what made it a very special parade was 518 was under construction from Friendswood up to Kroger's up here, just past City Hall. Yeah. And only half of the road was in place, and it wasn't really ready for use, so we had to run a parade down through some rough territory, but it was a very interesting parade. We were known as a baseball town. Pearland Little League and Pearland High School, they went to state, and people didn't want to play them, but everybody wanted to play the Pearland football team because they wanted to have at least one win, one win in the on the record. But I think that recently the quality of our athletics has been significant. I went to the Williamsburg for the Little League when they went to the World Championship match, and I was impressed with our young people. And we didn't win the World Championship in Little League, but we're the 4th best, and that's not too shabby. But the Pearland, I went to Dallas in the Cowboy Stadium when Pearland football team won 5A national championship, state championship. And I did not get a chance to go to Austin when our girls softball team won state 5A championship. But Pearland now is where it used to be, everybody wanted to schedule us so they have at least one win. Nobody wants to schedule us anymore because Pearland is always just on the verge of going to state in the last several years. When something is developed and completed, the feeling is, this is my city. And you don't have an awful lot of people that feel in cities as they grow that it belongs to them. I think people that live in Pearland have changed their viewpoints of life. I think it makes them feel that they have a responsibility for their environment, a strong responsibility for how the place ought to be conducted, and their expectations are those that normal people have when they want to have a better environment, better place to live. And it's a unique community in that respect, and I have always enjoyed that aspect.